Hey guys, it's Sam here. For my vlog today, I'm going to talk about young people in Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, first, before I get into it, I definitely want to say that I am not affiliated with AA. I'm not trying to promote AA. I'm just talking about AA from my personal experience. And there are a lot of different recovery meetings out there. You don't have to choose AA, but that's the one that I chose, so it's the only thing I can really base my experience on. Yeah, so when I first came into AA about 5 months ago, it was it was different because most of the meetings I went to, I was the youngest person in the room, which is fine, but in a way, it's kind of hard to relate to someone who drank, who was my age like 20, 30 years ago. It's kind of challenging because things are a lot different now, and definitely drinking back then in like the 70s is not the same as drinking now. So I felt kind of alone. It was very hard. I felt like I was this boring young person that has to stop drinking, and everyone else out there is going to be having fun when I'm by myself in AA, hanging around. I guess, sorry guys, but old people. uh, but and oh yeah, and something that I got a lot being a younger person in AA was people would come up to me, especially knowing that I'm new or that I was new at the time, and they came up to me and basically told me the following statement. And I'm sure if you guys are in recovery and you've probably heard this before. The thing that I got a lot was, "Oh, you're so young. You're so lucky you found out early before it got really bad. Like I wish I found out early." And you're so lucky. And I do feel really lucky. I do feel lucky that at the age of 22, I realized I had a problem and that I wanted to fix this problem. However, from my own personal opinion, I think that trying to get sober at the age of 55 is a little different than trying to get sober at the age of 22, because at the age, I'd say under 30, so maybe the ages from 15 to 30, we have so many pressures. Like when you're young, the fun thing to do on the weekends, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, is to party. So when you're trying to get into recovery, you feel like you're missing out, and you feel like you're alone. I know for me, when I first entered AA, I felt like I was going to be this boring person, and how can I make friends in college when everyone drinks and I can't drink? Uh, so that's very hard, and I feel like maybe that's why some younger people, even though maybe they do have a problem, they're kind of hesitant to get help about it because they don't want to be boring and they don't want to kind of be missing out on all the things that their friends are going to be doing. And I wish I could tell you that once you go into AA, like it's not what you thought it was going to be, and that you're never going to feel like you're missing out, or you're never going to feel like, why did I do this? Like it's so much easier to drink and party with all my friends. If I told you that it was easy, then I'd definitely be lying to you guys. I know my struggles are on the weekends, especially because I kind of live in a college party neighborhood, and from 9 p.m. on, I can just hear people partying, and my friends are out partying, and sometimes it does feel lonely. But there is a positive in this. Definitely check out if you're new in recovery and you feel alone at meetings. Like maybe you feel like, oh, I'm the youngest one here by like 10 years. No one understands me. No one gets it. It's normal to feel that way. But what you can do is definitely go to different meetings. And sometimes, I know in the Ottawa area, they have a meeting that's late. It's from 10 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. on Saturdays, and it's geared towards young people. So I remember being in my first month of recovery, and I was feeling pretty alone. I was like, well, it's exactly how it sounds. I felt really alone. But when I went to this meeting, I was like, oh my gosh, like 90% of the people there were under the age of like 28. And some of them had multiple years of sobriety. And that's just amazing. And after that, I wish I could say that my thinking changed all the time, but it didn't. But definitely after that, I knew that, you know what, I'm not the only one going through this. And there are younger people at meetings, and I can relate to people. Now, I don't want to tell you not to listen to the older people, and I definitely don't want to tell you to close your mind, because yes, maybe their drinking did peak before Google was invented. However, with Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm sure other recovery meetings, yes, you might have different stories, but the feelings, pay attention to the feelings. Most of the time, people do have the same feelings when they're an addict. You feel alone, you feel mentally exhausted. Like, I know for me, the mental obsession was crazy, and I couldn't deal with it anymore. I was planning everything around booze. So I surrendered and I went to AA. And I did. Another thing I can recommend is to make friends. I've met so many cool, really nice, down to earth people around my age, and we're friends today. And my best friend is in the program, and she's awesome. And I think it's probably one of the most real friendships I have had in a very long time, because when you meet someone in AA, a friend, it's like you already have one thing in common. You already have been through almost the same thing, or you felt the same way at some point in your life. So it definitely gives you a bit of a bond. Um, so yeah, I've met really great people in AA, and I just want to tell all those young people that are maybe afraid to go to a recovery meeting, definitely check it out. And you might feel alone at the beginning if you maybe are going to a meeting that there's not a really big age, uh, there's not really that many different age groups. But just keep looking around, keep looking for a meeting that really suits you. And believe me, there are so many young people in recovery. It's awesome. And the reason, I know for me, I always thought that everyone drank and everyone partied. But that's not true at all. Not every young person parties. It's just because I was hanging out with the partiers. So that's the only thing I could compare myself to, was the people that partied. However, not everyone does it, and I would definitely recommend going to AA, and I would definitely recommend listening to older people and what they have to say, especially if they do have multiple years of sobriety. And so what if it was before Facebook that they started drinking, you know? Because you can really relate to the feelings. So it doesn't matter what age group. I know it can be intimidating, but definitely check it out either way, and I can almost guarantee you that the program works if you work it. And obviously, I'm still in early recovery, but when I do work the program, when I do call my sponsor, when I make friends and reach out to people, the difference is like night and day in my mood. So to wrap up, I definitely think that if you're a young person and you're thinking about going into recovery, don't let the age thing scare you, because you'll be very surprised about how many young people are in the program. So that's my post for today, guys. And just know that there is hope. And although it does sometimes suck, especially on weekends maybe, but it does get easier, and it's so worth it in the end. It's kind of like having your eye on the prize. And yeah, maybe it's a really hard struggle at the beginning, but you can see people who have 5, 6, 7 years of sobriety and they're under 30, and it's like they did it so you can do it too, and it is possible. And just keep an open mind when you go into AA or whatever other meeting that you want to go to. Just keep an open mind and you'll be surprised. So don't let it intimidate you. Okay, guys, that's it for this week, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.